On this episode of the Contagious Influencers of America podcast, well, you've seen him on Yellowstone, Band of Brothers, and now he plays in the movie The Shift. And what's he playing? None other than the devil. NEAL McDONOUGh joins me.
So how does a guy who doesn't kiss on screen end up playing the devil? It was a conversation I had with Reve. And it went something like, honey, I can't do this. I'm not going to play the devil. And we thought about it. She says, okay, look, you're probably the best villain on the planet. I said, okay. And you're probably the only guy who has that kind of relationship with God in Hollywood that can pull this off and do it correctly and still figure out a way to make sure that this project gives glory to God and not to you as the actor.
This is CIA Contagious Influencers of America. I'm David Sams. A few days back, we had Christopher Balaha, who stars in the new movie The Shift, along with producer Ken Carpenter. But everybody's been asking me, who is this guy in these trailers and in the movie poster that we keep seeing? And of course, I'm talking about veteran actor NEAL McDonough. We've seen him time and time again in film and television. We've seen him in Band of Brothers. Oh, I love that movie. That's one of my favorites. And of course, Yellowstone and so many other productions. But he's going to be joining us in just a second. I had to have him on because, you know, he plays none other than the devil in this new motion picture from our friends at Angel Studios. And this is a very, very, very strong man of God. And I can't imagine all these years he's been saying, you know what? I've just got to play Satan. That is the top of my list. But that's the role he got in this. And boy, is he ever convincing. I can't wait to show you this clip in just a second. But, and this comes from our friends at Angel Studios, which, of course, produced and distributed Sound of Freedom. They distributed His Only Son, of course, The Chosen. I mean, these guys are hit makers time and time again. So this is their latest project called The Shift. Let's take a look.
Kevin, Molly, hi. I didn't come over here honestly expecting a date, but I feel like that's where this is going. So the idea is what we have some fun and maybe we kiss.
Hopefully.
Fifth date, we are really a part of each other's lives. It's a real thing now. Now there's the bad thing that happens.
Wait, hold on. What bad thing?
Hey, you're okay.
Nice to finally meet you, Kevin. I'm the benefactor.
Where's the accident? What happened?
There was no accident here.
Where did everybody go?
They didn't go anywhere. You did.
There are countless other realities. Imagine everything you have ever wanted. 1,000 versions of you in 1,000 different worlds, all working for me.
Where's my wife?
I shifted her. I can't do this all by myself.
I think the truth is that you're a liar. Your goal is misery.
I prefer the term chaos.
I've seen a bunch of people like us out there looking for a little hope. You're still trying to find that wife of yours. You're clinging to scraps of rumors.
We'll find my mom.
I don't think the benefactor's gonna shift you back to your wife because you asked nice.
I won't ask nicely. I will find a way. What do you want from me?
Work for me and get back with the woman that you love.
What if the bad thing tears us apart? Does that sound like something either one of us wants to endure?
Hi, David.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm so glad that we have you because it looks like The Shift is going to be a big winner. And congratulations to you, and congratulations to the whole team at Angel Studios.
In the Angel Studios, what they do at Angel, the Harmon brothers are just, once in a while you see people actually put their money where their mouth is for the right reasons, for all the right reasons. The Harmon brothers are doing it correctly, and it's allowing their guild, their fans, to be actually part owners of everything they do. What a smart thing, and allows them to vote on what they think is appropriate for the viewers of that guild or their families and what they want to watch out there. What other network or movie studio allows people to have that kind of input? Nobody. And it's just so refreshing as a filmmaker and as an artist, but also as a father, to be able to watch films like Reve and I are sitting here right now watching The Shift. And I was saying earlier, I generally never watch my stuff because I always find it entertaining, but it's just, I don't want to, I like my characters always be fresh.
Yeah.
So we had to sit down, and we're sitting down now watching The Shift, and I'm just kind of floored at the direction from Brock. The story from Brock is just unbelievable. Chris is phenomenal. I scare the heck out of myself just watching me. And just the whole art direction of the film, it's a beautiful piece of work. And I can't imagine this being greenlit anywhere else on this planet except for the incredibly caring, artistic, amazing, beautiful family minds of Angel Studios. And I can sit here and watch this film with all of my family sitting around the TV and say, guys, what do you think about this film? Now let's talk about life. Let's talk about faith. Let's talk about God. Again, where else do you get that other than Angel Studios? So I'm so blessed to have this, to have Homestead, this TV series, we're starting off as a feature film that we just finished. Other films that we have now, Black Spartans, a football film that hopefully we'll be doing with Angel, and then my new movie, The Last Rodeo, that I wrote, that John Abnett is directing, that Reve and I are producing, all through Angel. And I couldn't be happier to have a home like Angel Studios for the Christian family guy that I am, that everyone knows that I am, and I get to make entertainment the way that I think He wants us to entertain us, and that's to talk about Him, to give glory to Him, but also talk about issues, talk about real issues, difficult issues in life, and how do you get through these difficult times? Because you can hide in your homes and not talk about the issues that are out there. Mm-hmm. But what does that do as a Christian? What does that do as a human being to make the world a better place? You have to get out there and understand the ills of the world, what's going on, what's going wrong with the world, and talk about them. And by doing so, try to help fix it. Try to make the world a better place. As corny as that sounds, Reve and I are trying to make the world a better place through our entertainment and what we put out there for the people. Sometimes I play the good guy. Sometimes I play the bad guy. But there's always a message of hope or despair. What are you going to choose? And hopefully the viewers choose hope. And I can't say enough about Angel Studios to be able to shepherd, not just for what our visions are, but what the visions are for so many filmmakers to make entertainment where the whole family can watch it. It's amazing.
So how did a guy who has refused to be in sex scenes, and I read someplace that you won't even kiss another woman other than your wife, even
have you seen my wife? She's beautiful. Why would I kiss?
Where is she there? Isn't she there?
She's in the other room. But Paul Newman said it best. Why go out for a cheeseburger when you got a steak at home? Right. So I'm good. But I will say this though. So I won't. Oh, go ahead, David, please.
Yeah. So how's a guy who doesn't do sex scenes and won't kiss anybody but his wife, even in a script, end up playing Satan?
And that was a great question. And they came to me and they said, we have this movie for you, and you're gonna. And I said, am I a good guy or bad guy? And they said, you're the bad guy. I'm like, what does the bad guy mean? They said, we want you to play Satan. I said, no, I can't go that far. I'm not going to do it. I played some horrible characters in life because, with 5 kids, I have to provide for my family. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be the best villain or the best soldier in the middle of nowhere. From Band of Brothers to Damien Dark, I'm going to play whatever character I have to provide for my family. But as time has progressed, I've been given this opportunity by God to be able to make entertainment the way that I've always wanted to do it alongside my wife. And people are listening, and people are taking us very seriously because our films are turning profits. And at the same time, they give a nice little message to all the fans. So how does a guy who doesn't kiss on screen end up playing the devil? It was a conversation I had with Reve. And it went something like, honey, I can't do this. I'm not going to play the devil. And we thought about it. And she says, okay, look, you're probably the best villain on the planet. And I said, okay. And you're probably the only guy who has that kind of relationship with God in Hollywood that can pull this off and do it correctly and still figure out a way to make sure that this project gives glory to God and not to you as the actor. And I thought about it, and then she said, well, who else could play this character but you? You have to play it. So watching it scares the heck out of me playing it, but I do something in the film where, Lucifer was God's guy. He was right there from the very beginning, and he did something at some point where he decided he was going to make it about himself. And every time anyone does that as a human being, you fall. And he fell, and boy did he fall. And he's trying to take all of us down with him at the same time. But at the end of the film, there's a moment where I can't believe that the guy that I'm trying to pull to my dark side won't do it because he loves God so much. And there's a moment where you see in The Benefactor of, yeah, I remember that. That was, and then it switches. But there is that thing inside Lucifer, even, I'm sure, that wishes he never made that mistake. But there's no way of going back for him now. Maybe one day he will, and I pray that one day that he will, and maybe he'll watch this film and think, you know what, McDonough's right. The only way through life and through this universe and through eternity is by adoring and loving God with all your heart and all your soul. So you never know. Might win him over too.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, that would be something great.
Yeah. So take me back to the beginning. Tell me a little bit about your life of growing up, where you come from.
I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, to two amazing parents who came right over from Ireland. My dad came over in 1947 with, I tell the story, with $12 in his pocket, walked straight into the Army office and said, make me an American. And they shipped him over for 5 years, came back a full American citizen, and was so proud of it, and brought up 6 kids that were all, and are to this day, so proud to be American because of what our dad did and the sacrifices he did for us to become an American. So that was kind of our childhood. That was my childhood of trying to do the right thing as a young Catholic family, and to now instill those same kind of morals, work ethic, belief into our kids. And Reve's the exact same way. She's a devout Christian herself, and Catholic, and believer of everything is possible through him. So our 5 kids see what we do in our lives and see what we achieve by living St. Francis's code of, by giving you shall receive, and try to give as much as you can. And by doing so, you won't need anything because everything will be given to you. Everything you need will always be there if you are doing the right things for him. And that's kind of the way that we run our lives in the McDonough house. God first, me second. Family first, me second. Team first, me second. And if you put those things into your kids' heads, that'll permeate through their teams that they're with, their school that they're at, their church that they're at. And hopefully it'll spread like wildfire and make the world that much better because of what they do and their actions.
And it doesn't seem as though really, looking over your body of work, it doesn't seem as though you've had a difficult time being a man of faith and getting great roles in the industry.
Well, there was a time that, as everyone knows, I got penalized for not kissing women on screen, and they fired me, and everyone thought I was this religious zealot. Couldn't work for 2 years, lost my houses, lost my cars, lost everything, lost it all. And there wasn't a bottle of Jameson that I didn't want. And it was a hard time for me. I was being crucified, and it was very difficult. And then I remember one day I said to God, why have you forgotten about me? And then as soon as that came out of my mouth, I fell to the ground just crying, and like, wow, how could I say something so selfish to the one who's given me so much? And then 1 minute later, Graham Yost calls and says, hey, You want to be the villain on Justified this year? Well, how did that happen? So if, we all go through hard things in life. It's how we pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off that dictate what kind of men and women we really are. And you're going to be tried. Like in Sirach, I think it's Sirach 5, where it says, in fire, gold is tested. And Reve, my wife, sent me that when I was going through some hard things years ago. I've been sober now for 8 years, and I can't tell you how amazing the last 8 years of sobriety have been compared to all the years, the 49 years before that. And to be clear of mind and everything else, it's just a much better way of life for me, and I couldn't be happier. I'm blessed. I got a woman who adores me, and I adore her, and she forgives me for my failures and builds me back to be a better man than I could ever be every single day that I'm alive. And for that, I can't tell you how blessed I am.
How did you two meet?
We met it'll be 23 years ago. It'll be 24 years ago. This St. Patrick's Day coming up, when I went to do Band of Brothers over in England. And the very first day, we bumped into each other, and I looked at her, and I knew this was going to be the woman I was going to marry and be with for the rest of my life. I'm not sure she knew that, but I knew that. And 100 movies and 1,000 hours of television ever since, and I'm a very blessed guy.
Well, what a great role! What a great series that was, Band of Brothers. It had such impact on me when I watched that. It's one of those gripping things that you watch an episode and you go to bed and you just think about it, and you wake up the next day and you can't wait for the next episode. It's just a wonderful series to be a part of that.
Yeah, and those guys are still all our best pals. We talk to them all the time. Every movie that we do, we try to get one guy from the cast in it, or crew members, or whatever the case is. But that was a time in my life to work for Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks, and tell the story of the 101st and the 82nd and what these guys went through, and to have Buck Compton become like another father figure in my life. It was. If I talk about Band of Brothers for more than a minute, David, I start getting weepy. So I'll stop now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, your kids, are they going to follow in your footsteps? What's going on with them?
One of them for sure, our daughter London, she's Shirley Temple. She's like, Dad, why do I even go to school? I'm 13 years old. I should be on a Disney show. I'm going to win more Academy Awards than you ever will. And she's dead serious. In fact, she's on stage tonight as Dorothy, so I'm looking forward to seeing that tonight.
Oh, good.
But all the other kids, they're just good kids. They play sports. They do well at school, well at sports. Good friends. Don't get in any trouble in high school thus far. And we're really, really so proud of all of our kids and what they've achieved thus far in their lives. And it's pretty remarkable.
Let's talk a minute about the way things are changing. Everything from technology to distribution to the way films are made now. I mean, it's an interesting time. Of course, you all just finished up going through a strike, and I'm in the Directors Guild, so we were the first ones that went through this, and then the Writers Guild, et cetera. But tell me kind of what's gone through your head, especially over the last few months as you were sort of in waiting, so to speak, holding pattern, about how the business is evolving, how it impacts you, what you see in the next 2 or 3 years ahead just what Angel's doing as far as distribution is concerned. I mean, this, as we see the ticket sales, I mean, it's like watching the Jerry Lewis telethon, hey, let's go to the board. It's every time I go to that website, it's like, yeah, we've sold another 7,500 tickets, and meanwhile, the old style studios are sort of, we can't talk about that. You got a signed a confidentiality notice or agreement, and it's just strange, all the different things that are taking place now.
Well, when you look at the ticket sales for The Shift, it's 50, 60, almost 70,000 tickets sold already. And I mean, who does that? Mm-hmm. It's when it comes to distribution, when you can distribute something that the people want. people are going to go and see it. Angel Studios, they're putting it, and they're just starting. I mean, they're really. I mean, look what they did with Sound of Freedom. Look how that was such an incredible, monumental shift in the way distribution is done. It's not just that good old boys circuit that it used to be, and I think a lot of it was God's hand in what happened with Angel. That there's a strike going on, nothing's happening. We got to rethink things, and then this little company puts out Sound of Freedom, and it makes $215 million in the box office domestic. What? How did that happen? And now all the projects that they're doing, everyone's looking at Angel Studios for distribution, because when they put their money out there, look, Netflix or whomever, any of these streamers can put their projects out there, but they can hide their numbers, and they want to. Angel Studios is the exact opposite. They want to show the numbers and show how great it is and give back to the people who are there for them to help make every project that they're making.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What? That can't be. That can't be. And, I was talking to Jordan the other day, and someone was telling me, well, let's just put your script on, Neil, and we can just get it passed through the guild. And I'm like, no, you have to make a torch. That way, all the guild gets to vote on it, and people get to actually feel like it's their baby. And They get to be part of it. And they're rooting for it all the way through its infancy. Now it's standing up. Now it's walking. Now it's running. And now it's off to the races, because the people have been behind it since the very beginning. Again, who else does that? Nobody. And that's God's divine intervention. I am 100% certain of it. So, what's gone on for the last few months? People have had to reassess what their careers are, had to reassess how talented they are. Do they stick with it? Do they move on? It was kind of a shakeup.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in a space now because of Angels that we're in a really fantastic spot. And I owe a lot of that to the Harmon brothers, because of what they stand for and what they're putting forward. And I finally have a place where Reve and I can make the projects that we want to make, that give glory to him, but tell stories. They can have an edge. They can talk about difficult subject matter, but it has to have that certain angel feeling to it. And that's all I can talk about is what we can put out there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you what you're going to put out there, David. I can't tell what Martin Scorsese is going to put out there. I can tell that's not up to me. I'm not that smart of a guy. All I can do is control, like I tell our kids. I can tell you what to do, but if I show you how I live through faith, isn't that better? Well, I can tell you what I would like to see the world become, but all I can do is really show you how I would like the world to come and how I would like to fit into it. And that's what Reve and I are doing now with our projects and moving forward. And it's, boy, what a humbling, powerful spot we're in right now, because we know we're doing it for all the right reasons. It's pretty cool.
So what's the big project, or what's your big dream project that you want to have made, or that you want to make and get into theaters?
We're doing it now with this movie called The Last Rodeo that John Avnet is directing. He directed Fried Green Tomatoes and Up Close and Personal and all kinds of great films. John, obviously one of the big speakers for the Directors Guild,
mm-hmm.
getting the deal hashed out. So we have Michael T. Williamson, who is Bubba Gump, who's one of my best friends on the planet, is in the film. We have offers out to some other actors. I won't mention who they are right now, but they're great names. And, from Reve and I to, I wrote it with my Derek Presley, my writing partner, who wrote Boone, who wrote Redstone, who wrote The Wicked and the Righteous, this Cain and Abel in the Western that we wrote that Jonathan Mostow is looking to direct. I can't tell you how humbled I am that the Hollywood industry is taking Reve and I this seriously and allowing us to do what we always have wanted to do. And the great part about The Last Rodeo, and this will be my favorite part, and I'm famous for one take, maybe two, but as you know, I've never kissed a woman on screen before. Well, I did once, and that was about 30 years ago. But ever since I met Reve, I haven't. So in this movie, Reve is playing my wife through flashbacks, and my wife who's passed away. And there's one scene in there where I have to kiss my wife. Of course, I wrote it that way. And that day might take 15 or 20 takes to get through that long kissing scene, because I'm going to enjoy that kissing scene. Casablanca's got nothing on us, and it's going to be one of those just great moments that I can't wait. That's My dream is to kiss my wife on screen, and David, I'm just about to. So I'm not sure anything can make me happier.
Good for you. Just one last question, and that is, now that you have all this experience behind you and this many years of doing what you do and many years of being a dad and a husband, if you could tell the 10-year-old self, give him some advice knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Well, it was my 10-year-old self, 11-year-old self, I remember was kind of a mess. I had, little did I know at the time, I had dyslexia, I had a speech impediment, I was kind of chunky, but I could hit a baseball. And that's all that I really had. And then, when I finally got to high school, I was kind of a mess again. I didn't make the teams. I didn't know what was going on in life, and I couldn't figure it out. And two things happened. I finally got to play Snoopy in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and got a standing ovation my first night. I'm like, oh, this is what I think I'm supposed to do. But it was a religious retreat called Echo that I did that made me realize how different, how unique Neal McDonough is. And to be that unique guy that God created only one of you, to be that to the best of your ability, that was the best lesson that I ever learned. And it took a while to really build that actual confidence. You fake it till you make it for a while, especially, moving out to Hollywood, or you try this and try that, you try to be whatever it is that you think that they want. But once you really become your unique self, and it was Band of Brothers that changed it all for me, that I finally became myself on screen, and I met Reve, and she gave me all the confidence that I needed to have. So with my great belief in God in heaven and my great belief in my wife, Reve, I got this ridiculous confidence of everything is possible now, and just it's going to happen. Everything's going to happen because I know it's supposed to. And it's that deep faith in those things that I tell everyone, any young actor, any young plumber, any young whatever, be the best version of you every day, and great things will happen. Then you won't worry about temptations. You won't worry about, I need to have that, or I need to have this. Temptations are always going to be there. It's up for you to be able to be strong enough to stay away from them, like alcohol. There are certain temptations out there that I need to get away from. I can face them straight on and say, no, thank you, I'm good. So it's having faith in yourself and believe that God's always got your back, and what could go wrong after that.
Well, my friend, this has been great, and congratulations on this role. Congratulations on this movie. Congratulations on what's happening to you and your family there. And I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see all those outtakes with you kissing your wife 15 times.
15,
you got
20,
you got a lot of lost time to make up for on screen anyway.
That's
right.
right. That's right. Exactly. Pretty terrific.
You have a wonderful day. Okay.
You the same, David. God bless you. Thanks for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Neal. Neal McDonough has been my guest today here on CIA. Do go see The Shift, now in theaters, from our friends at Angel Studios. Of course, the same studio that brought us The Chosen, His Only Son, and, of course, Sound of Freedom. Who could forget that? I think that's done over, $250 million theatrically in the U.S. and abroad. So this is a great movie. It's a thriller. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. It's called The Shift, now in theaters. I'm David Sams, and this has been CIA, Contagious Influencers of America, from the producers of Keep the Faith. Do check out our website and give us 5 stars, 5 big stars if you would, because that's how people, that's how they find us, is because you've recommended us. Our website is contagiousinfluencers.com, where you can hear all of the episodes. I think we're up to 250 or so. And of course, our radio show website is at KeepTheFaith.com, and you're going to find all kinds of goodies there at KeepTheFaith.com. And this week, we're coming up on Christmas, so spread a little love and a little cheer, and go out there and live that life in living color, because it sure is a heck of a lot more interesting than living in black and white. See you next time.